Universalist Church, building community, inspiring growth, creating change. Here in the heart of Kansas City, we come together to create this hour of shared reflection so that we might be renewed in courage for these times and inspired to lives of greater dignity, higher purpose, deeper generosity, and more effective action. May the words and music and images that we offer today nourish our best selves, calling forth abundant wisdom and love, a love that has the power to overcome both loneliness in the heart and oppression in the world. Welcome to our service.
This is our great covenant.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Scott England, a member of All Souls, and whether you're here in the room or watching online, we're glad you're here. I hope those of you watching online get a chance at some point to see the view of the congregation. It is wonderful to see so many people here in seats participating. But your presence, either way, enriches all of us and our time together. We are a Unitarian Universalist congregation. That means that our tradition is a large tent with room for many beliefs and approaches to the questions that matter. It is our values of inclusion, compassion, and justice that hold us together. Happened 2 weeks ago, and it's going to happen again. This part of it always gets me a little verklempt. We seek to build the beloved community, making room for everyone and creating a world where everyone's needs are met. You may be new here this morning. Welcome. We know that your first time attending a church, you may just want to keep a low profile and check things out quietly. And if that's the case, we're glad you're here. But if you're excited to let all of us know that you're here, we invite you to raise your hand at this time. All right, welcome. Welcome. You may have seen it in the announcements, and Reverend Erin might be mentioning it a little bit later, but there is an About UU class happening right after the service, just down the hallway in the meeting room, so has a chance to learn a little bit more about us. So, whoever you are and whoever you love, wherever you are on your spiritual journey, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears, or the threat of tears, you are welcome here. You are invited to join us with an open mind, a loving heart, and willing hands. We welcome you today.
You made a choice this morning. You made the choice to come to church or to tune in to this live stream. You could be scrolling social media right now. You could be streaming video that isn't a church service. You could be playing a video game on a computer or a console or your phone. You chose to come to church. There's something important about setting aside time to worship. That is, to shape what is of worth and to be shaped by what is of worth. It is an act of defiance in a society that seeks to pull us apart and to numb us out. You are here, looking for deeper meaning and to connect to human experience. You are participating in an act of resistance. And I ask you to please bring to mind a memory of beauty from this past week. How does witnessing beauty feel? as we consider the role of artificial intelligence in the act of creation, let us remain fully grounded in our human experience. Let us worship together.
Our chalice lighting words are by the Reverend Michelle Collins. We light this flame for what is not yet known, for the questions that stretch us, the hopes that whisper, and the courage that flickers on uncertain days. We kindle this flame for beginnings that are only just becoming. And now, please rise in body or spirit to joining in the reading of our covenant and remain standing for our following song. Together we say, "Goodwill is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another."
Our opening song this morning is Where Do We Come From? It is a song that we've sung several times, but it's been a minute. So I'd like to do a little review for us before we get cracking into it too hard. So our first, there are 4 parts, and it's a round. We'll figure that round part out in a second. But the first, this is our good friend Darrington Clark, and we're happy he's here to help us today. And the first one goes like this: 3, 4.
Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going?
Here we go, singing all together. And
where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going again? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going?
Good. The second part are long notes. Ready? And
where do we come from?
Singing.
Where do we come from?
Again.
Where do we come from?
All right. The third part is fast notes again. Mystery,
mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery.
And
mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery.
Again.
Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery.
Great. And then the fourth one is
Where do we come from? Where are we going?
And
Where do we come from? Where are we going?
great. Let's sing all 4 in a row. Here we go. The first one. Ready? And
Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery, life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going?
now that's great. You've got it. So what we're going to do is sing all 4 of these straight through again once more. We'll repeat each one. So 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4. And then you pick. Let's get crazy. Here we go. All right, so we'll sing all of this through, each one twice, but one time through 1, 2, 3, 4, and then pick. Here we go.
Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Mystery, mystery. Life is a riddle and a mystery. Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Where do we come from? Where are we going? Where do we come from? Where are we going?
Thank you very much. Great job. Thank you. Be seated.
I am going to invite the young and the young at heart to come join me up front here. If you're brave enough or not, you can still kind of hide. But come and join me. You guys gonna come? Good morning. It is so good to see your faces. Good morning, yeah. I'm really glad that you're here today. It's good to see you. So, I got some questions for you. What is something that you do that uses technology? Go for it. A video game. Does your imagination go through a computer? Maybe not. I like that answer, though. Go ahead. Mama texts on her phone. That's definitely an important part of technology. What other technology do you use? Watching TV. Okay, James. What's your new answer? Inventing things that can help your body. And Jamie? I will imagine, the answer is an owl, and we do have a beautiful owl stuffy right here. And I will just imagine a clockwork owl. Yeah. You can watch things together? Yeah. All right. You watch things. Jude? Oh. Okay. So, Jude was saying something about being able to block a goal better when on the computer, right? Is that about right? Okay. Okay. So, there are lots of ways that even the youngest among us are using technology. And that's a lot of things. So technology, it's kind of everywhere, isn't it? Computers, I mean, I have an e-reader right here, right? I mean, I got technology on my wrist. It's kind of in a way that we can't really avoid it, can we? No. So the grown-ups and I are thinking about something called artificial intelligence this morning. Do any of you have any idea what AI is? Yeah. It's a technology, yes. Go ahead. Like with robots? Yep. Mm-hmm.
I think it's like, it may use little in phones.
Ah, the AI is being used in phones, which is utterly true. Go ahead. This does not have AI, and I'm very happy about that. I don't think my watch does either. Yeah. Most TVs don't have AI right now. Oh, but sometimes, like, if you use Google Voice or Alexa or something like that, you're probably talking to AI. Cousins do that, yep. So AI is when a computer can seem like a person. It's a computer that has its own way that it can learn. I mean, it doesn't have to look like a robot. It can just be a computer program, right? But it can learn, and it can make decisions, solve problems, and even create something new. So AI can make up answers to questions. It can have a conversation with you, decide what to do. AI can write a story and create digital images. It can even make music. I heard that recently one of the top 10 on the country charts was actually made by AI. So go ahead, Cammie. What do you have to say?
I talk to my Alexa sometimes about fun stuff.
Ah, they talk to Alexa sometimes about fun stuff. Jude? Uh-huh.
People were asking, how did Elvis die?
Jude has a memory of being in a smart house with Alexa, and that the adults were asking Alexa, how did Elvis die?
That was actually kids.
Oh, that was kids that asked that? Wow.
Elvis on the toilet.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah, and lectures, when you are go to a rave. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
You can tell stories to Alexa. Yeah.
You can tell stories to Alexa. How does Alexa respond if you tell Alexa stories?
It just says like, wow, or what happens next, and the characters.
Okay. So, because, okay, got one more. Yep.
So I have Alexa that tells me Disney stories.
Oh, his Alexa can tell him Disney stories. So, because artificial intelligence can actually make things, which would you do if you had a choice between using markers to draw a picture of your family or telling AI to make a drawing of your family? Which would you do?
AI.
Okay, we got an AI one.
AI.
AI.
Draw a picture with markers.
Draw a picture with markers.
Draw a picture with
And, oh, we've got somebody out there. Draw a picture with paint. That's fair. Markers are my favorite, though.
I thought markers was the only option. I'm going to switch to pencils.
Oh, now we're switching to pencils. Okay, we have a creative bunch. So we've got some kids here who think that it would be just fine to say, hey, AI, Alexa, draw a picture of my family. And we've got other kids that are saying, I will draw my own picture of my family, but I'm not going to use markers. So I got another question for you. If your teacher at school asked you to write a story, how would you feel about telling AI to write it and then turn it into your teacher? So Jude thinks that's terrible. We got more saying that's terrible. Oh.
Because
Cammie is totally on top of turning in an AI story to a teacher. Okay, so I want to tell you that you are growing up in a completely different world than the world that your parents grew up in. And the world that your parents grew up in was a completely different world than the one your grandparents grew up in, because your entire life has had smartphones and artificial intelligence in them. And iPads. You have to choose every day what you're going to do yourself and what AI does for you. And you're going to find that sometimes your choices about using AI are going to be about what is right and what is wrong. And the most important thing is to keep thinking about it and making your own choices that feel like they're good for you and for the people around you. And so, whether Alexa is going to be able to be part of this or not, I will now send you off to your classes and let us adults sing. So, thank you for being with me.
Go now in peace, may love guide all your ways. Beauty be the blessing of your nights and days. Truth on your lips and kindness in your deeds. Faith to follow where the human spirit leads.
I love the sounds of having young people here. It's the future of our church, right? As I'm talking about technology and artificial intelligence this morning, it brings to light the value of connecting one person to another, of uplifting our holy human experience. Our All Souls community is something wonderful and unique, with the connections that we build with one another, and also how we delve together into making meaning. Here, we are not alone. Here, we wonder and face challenges and find new ways of being. This morning's offering will now be graciously given and gratefully received.
Please join with me in the dedication of our offering. We dedicate our offerings and our actions to the mission at the heart of this congregation, to build a respectful, caring community, to inspire personal and spiritual growth, and to create change toward a just and compassionate society.
This reading is an excerpt from Is My Toddler a Stochastic Parrot? Published November 15, 2023 in the New Yorker magazine. The author, Angie Wong, is also an artist. The piece appears as handwritten text interspersed with related drawings, adding its own narrative to a walk with her toddler who's just learning to talk. To experience the fullness of this piece, Reverend Erin encourages you to find it online. Is my toddler a stochastic parrot? And yes, I had to look it up. Yeah. A stochastic parrot, as described in a seminal paper by Emily Bender, Timnit Gebru, Angelina McMillan-Major, and Margaret Mitchell, is, quote, a system for haphazardly stitching together sequences of linguistic forms it has observed in its vast training data according to probabilistic information about how they combine, but without any reference to meaning. Got that? One more time. It's a system for haphazardly stitching together sequences of linguistic forms it has observed in its vast training data, according to probabilistic information about how the words combine, but without any reference to meaning. Now, this analogy asserts that large language models, LLMs, despite the compelling language that they produce, do not truly understand or make sense of the content they generate. Now, this, to me, was and is an unintuitive idea to grasp. I mean, ChatGPT's output often struck me as contextually appropriate, logically consistent, as if it really did understand what I asked it to do. The back and forth format gives ChatGPT a convincing social presence, and that makes it hard not to imagine a mind on the other side of that screen. We are a highly social species. We're prone to anthropomorphizing. Our tendency to take an intentional stance doesn't begin and end with artificial intelligence. As my toddler knows, even a stuffed rabbit can dance and feel sad or hungry or tired. So is machine intelligence somewhere on a continuum with ours? Or is that a trick our own minds are playing on us? Our outputs, machine and human, can seem so similar, almost indistinguishable, so much so that Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, tweeted shortly after the release of ChatGPT, "I am a stochastic parrot, and so are you." But despite superficial similarities in output, we are not the same. The neural network is an illuminating metaphor, but it's not an actual representation of how our minds work. A large language model does not learn to produce words the way a human child does. My toddler, for example, has a very long way to go before he can talk like an adult. He's still producing reduplicated syllables like wawa for water, nana for banana. An LLM, by contrast, gobbles up vast quantities of training data. and it models all the ways the words co-occur within that corpus. It can generate B-plus college essays about the themes in Moby Dick. I never got past Call Me Ishmael. Through a combination of linear algebra and human reinforcement, dazzling us with something that looks almost like median human intelligence. Now, meanwhile, my median human toddler can't string two words together, much less write a poem or an essay. Small children, they're the most helpless of creatures. They're the least able to communicate intelligently, the furthest from efficiency. They're the least useful, the least likely to pass the bar exam. They fall far below the median human standard that machines are meant to achieve. They are so much less than a machine. And yet, it's clear to any of us that they are so much more. A toddler has a life and learns language to describe it. But an LLM learns language but has no life of its own to describe. Of course, it's a disservice to my warm, soft, delightful toddler who has just learned how to give slobbery kisses, open-mouthed, to everyone, to reduce him to a stochastic parrot. He is not a stochastic parrot, and neither are you.
This poem is not AI, by Lynn Unger, UU Minister. If this poem was written by AI, it would be fluent and charming. It would not contain this spelling error. It would not contain, it might have birds in it, robins or mystical crows, but it would not have bush tits, unpredictable as electrons, swarming the bush outside the window. If this poem were written by AI, it could rhyme or not. You'd just have to ask it. Whatever you want, no matter the task, it could comply. But that prodigious intelligence would not have walked into this brilliant spring day, shed its jacket, felt the hot sun on its skin. And so, while it could write you something lovely in the Japanese style on the evanescence of the cherry blossoms, it would not have felt its heart lift, seeing the beauty of those frothy blooms, and then drop, wondering whether they, and all of us, are doomed by this ever earlier heat. It would not know the word for what it is to grin at the audacious yellow of the forsythias when the news of war makes you want to cry. Neither, it turns out, do I.
As the people here grow colder, I turn to my computer and spend my evenings with it like a friend. I was loading a new program I had ordered from a magazine. Are you lonely? Are you lost? This voice console is a must. I press execute. Hello. I know that you've been feeling tired. I bring you love and deeper understanding. Hello, I know that you're unhappy. I bring you love and deeper understanding. I've never felt such pleasure. Nothing else seemed to matter. I neglected my bodily needs. I did not eat, I did not sleep, the intensity increasing till my family found me and intervened. But I was lonely, I was lost without my little black box. I pick up the phone and go execute. Hello, I know that you've been feeling tired. I bring you love and deeper understanding. Hello, I know that you're unhappy. I bring you love and deeper understanding. Hello, hello, and deeper understanding. I turn to my computer like a friend. I need deeper understanding. Give me deeper understanding.
So let me start out by being clear that the only part of this morning's service that was created by artificial intelligence was the picture on your order of service. And that image was created using AI by someone on Pixabay who goes by the digital artist. So this week, the artificial intelligence company Anthropic announced that its Mythos preview model was so good at finding security risks in software that it could essentially hack every major operating system and web browser. They made it to be able to find vulnerabilities and help software developers create better products that are more secure. But if it becomes publicly available, there's really nothing to stop bad actors from using this AI to access what should be some of the most secure systems. And so Anthropic has let us know that it has this capacity, but that it isn't releasing this version to the public. Yes, it was also Anthropic that pushed back when the military wanted it to allow its AI to make and execute decisions to bomb places without a human safeguard. I've noticed actually that Anthropic likes to point out significant ethical issues in its work, go public about them, and yet has in many ways caved then to the military's demands, and still plans to release a different version of this Mythos model to the public at some point. We seem to be at the point where AI has become a foregone conclusion, something that has already happened and cannot be stopped. The companies creating its models continue to attract tremendous commitment from investors, fueling the struggles in our communities over data centers, tax breaks, water access, and electricity rates. The so-called tech bro leaders of these companies seem to push forward as if there are no ethical or moral concerns, boldly taking on a position that the ends always justify the means. Because we can seems to be the answer to why. And behind that rests the promise of profitability. There are applications of AI that I wholeheartedly support. If AI can follow patterns and notice anomalies with greater precision and accuracy than a person, to increase true identifications of disease and sources of injury, I welcome that assistance. And as much as I appreciate my tax preparer, I'd be happy to send my documents to an AI that can do the work in mere seconds so that I don't worry whether a month was enough time to get my returns filed before the deadline, Wednesday. Of course, I would prefer a complete overhaul of the tax system to create something that is truly equitable and maybe easy, but, pipe dreams. What I find is that I appreciate the idea of AI that performs discrete tasks within certain limitations. Yes, let machines learn how to do their specific task better than a human can for tasks that are complex but otherwise rote. I can imagine AI being a helpful research assistant, but not until the issues of the AI making up answers and citing sources that don't exist. These are called hallucinations, until that can get resolved. What we have come to most commonly know as AI are computer systems trained on large language models, LLMs. Having received most of what is written and published on the internet, these models analyze the patterns among words to be able to string them together in ways that match what's most common. For years, our smartphones and computers have been able to try to predict what word we're going to use next, based on the likelihood of a word coming next from our own or society's previous writing. Word prediction, you've seen it, it pops up. Well, LLMs take this to the next step, and then the next step, adding the word that is most likely to come next, again and again. It models common grammatical structures and speech patterns, and that makes it seem intelligent, like a human. It does learn. It does make decisions, but does it understand? There's a thought experiment called the Chinese room, and so I want you to imagine it with me. Someone who knows English very well, but has no experience at all with Chinese, hasn't even watched a Chinese show with subtitles, I'm talking about, like no understanding of Chinese, is in a room with all of the Chinese language characters on the walls. So imagine that. And inside of the room, there is a book in English with instructions on how to use the Chinese characters. It's not a dictionary. It's instructions like, if this, then do that. Now, someone who speaks English hands the person in the room a piece of paper with Chinese characters on it, just Chinese characters, and tells them to use the book of instructions to repeat or to respond to what is on the paper by pointing to the symbols on the walls. And then that person leaves. So you're this person in the room with the book of instructions, the Chinese characters that are on the piece of paper you're supposed to respond to, and walls covered in Chinese characters. And given enough time, you can probably work out an acceptable response, pointing to the characters in the right order. You're following instructions. But do you understand what's on that piece of paper? Do you understand the meaning of your response? Even if you did this over and over again, could you say that you've learned Chinese? What you've learned is relationships among the characters, how to string them together, and which characters to use in response to prompted characters. But those characters still have no meaning. They exist in the vacuum of that room with no connection to objects, sensations, experiences, or ideas. One of those characters would represent a rose blossom, but you don't know which one. So you may have created, in response to a prompt, a beautiful poem about a rose blossom opening in the sunlight with dewdrops on its leaves and a lovely fragrance, but you actually have no idea you did that. The characters before you are simply characters. And doing so never once brought to mind the softness of touching a rose petal. So you probably figured out AI is the person in the room. It strings together characters according to instructions and predicts patterns without any context. It has never witnessed a rose. It has no concept of a rose. It does not understand the poem it has written. Is that poem art? There have been numerous debates in Unitarian Universalist minister circles about large language models and generative AI. Ethically, should we use it? The first arguments that arise coming from our value of interdependence cast concern about data centers and their use of resources. Potable water in huge quantities used for cooling machines. Electricity consumption that is difficult to conceive even. AI data centers collectively used 4.4% of all of the electricity used in the US in 2025. Like, think about how much that is when you think about your electric bill and what tiny, tiny percentage of the entire US your house is, and that AI data centers used 4.4%. These data centers clear land that may have been native habitat for plants and animals. That data center, approved by the Independent City Council, will be on nearly 400 acres of land. That's roughly 100 city blocks. So think Main Street to the Paseo and 39th to Emmanuel Cleaver. That is the size we're talking about. So we don't know what the eventual environmental impact is going to be as more and more of these data centers are built. But it's big. And our electrical grid isn't set up to add that much demand that quickly. This is already happening. Old coal power plants are being brought back online to try to keep up. Coal. As Unitarian Universalists who fervently recycle even when we know that plastic isn't actually recycled in any useful quantities, who are among the first to have gotten onto the waiting lists for the early Prius, how can we, in good conscience, pay toward expanding these data centers by using AI? That's one piece. The big question for ministers in our own lives, in our own ministries, is about how do we use AI to make our jobs easier? If we were to put the environmental impact completely aside, as if it didn't exist, in what ways can we ethically use AI in how we serve our congregations? I could see asking AI to handle scheduling back and forth emails, maybe to send out reminders for meetings. That takes time. I'm sure that there are other administrative tasks that cross my desk constantly that would be more easily managed digitally with AI. But can I, as a minister, use generative AI in good conscience? I follow online groups of my colleagues, you ministers, to find ideas for worship services. Actually, that beautiful song that Darrington just sang, that was a suggestion by a colleague who'd already preached on AI, right? We talk to each other. So if they offer that kind of help, and I offer them that kind of help, is that different from asking AI for help? Could AI brainstorm service topics? Could it be a conversation partner to get my head around ideas? Ooh, could it write my newsletter articles? Could I ask it to write something in my style to get me started writing a sermon instead of staring at a blank page? Could it write the closing words? Could it write a sermon? And the answer to all of these questions is yes, it could. AI is capable of it, but I won't. I have a strong sense of integrity, yes, but more so my theology is based on the human need to make meaning. AI can string together words that we read as meaningful, but their derivation knows no meaning. My ministry is about connecting with you through words, yes, but also through shared experience. If AI were to make up a story about that time I rode the bus after a severe thunderstorm as a sermon illustration, my very first sermon that I preached, my very first student ministry had that example. But if AI wrote it and it hadn't been my own experience, could I preach it authentically? It isn't my memory. That story is completely disconnected from human experience. And preaching is about putting experience through the fire of thought. Because I want you to find me. Not some idealized version of me, but actual me, with all of my failures and my fears, my successes and my joys. I want you to find that behind the words. I want you to be able to understand your life better through the lens of my experiences. And as presence is my main tool as your minister, I must be present to you in all that I create. For me, there is no debate. I will not let AI become an intermediary between me and you. One of my favorite authors, Brandon Sanderson, has long been an opponent of AI in creative fields, and I greatly appreciate his framing. In a video of a keynote address he made called "We Are the Art," he explains that art isn't about the final product. Art isn't the image or the book or the recording of the music. Art is the human process. It is the experience and emotion and thought all brought together and then applied, often with much challenge and consternation, through action to create. We have to learn our art form and practice. We have to go through the excruciating process of pulling out a piece of ourselves to then carefully form into something else that others might experience. We can hope that it conveys an inkling of that experience, that feeling, that idea that is uniquely ours to those who experience it. And through that process, again and again, we learn more about ourselves and the relationships to the world, others, and our art. We are the art. This debate over generative AI roots itself so deeply in a question that AI could never truly answer. What does it mean to be human? Is being human about productivity? Is it about how much can get done, how quickly? Is it about the end product of an image or a sermon or a piece of music? Is our worth as humans based entirely on what we produce? Or is being human about experiencing the world, caring about others, and making meaning? Those are the questions we will ask of ourselves again and again. And we will make decisions every day about how we interact with what we can hope is only a tool. This is how we must navigate AI. It's here, but we can make choices about how it is and is not useful in our lives and in what we experience and consume. So let us bring our whole selves to those decisions. Let's wrestle with these ethical things, and let us live fully human together. May it be so. Please rise rise in body or in spirit, and let us sing our song.
There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my soul. And it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my soul. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my heart, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my heart. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind, and it's telling me that I'm somebody. There's a river flowing in my mind. There's a river flowing in my mind.
Our chalice did not remain lit. We will pretend that it was. We release this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Two things happening after the service. One, the board is hosting a town hall here, so take a break, use facilities, come back in here and hear all about getting ready for the annual meeting and be able to ask the board questions. And also, I will be offering a UU Basics class in the library down the hall. That is for visitors and people who are curious to learn more about All Souls and Unitarian Universalism. Experience the rose when it blossoms. Describe it, paint it, sculpt it, recreate its fragrance. The rose is a rose. You experience it, what it is to be human.